Picture a cat with its own mansion, a personal chef, and a bank account that would make most humans green with envy. Sounds like a fairy tale, doesn't it? Well, think again. This is the incredible reality for some of the world's wealthiest pets. Today, we're diving into the astonishing world of millionaire cats and other animals who've inherited vast fortunes. Brace yourselves, because some of these stories are truly mind-boggling. So, how exactly does a pet become an heir? Legally, in most countries, you can't directly leave money to a cat or dog. An animal is legally considered property. But there's a clever legal workaround: the trust fund. Owners set aside funds in a special trust and appoint a trustee or guardian. This individual is then responsible for managing the finances and caring for the pet for the rest of its life, making sure all the owner's wishes are met. So let's kick things off with a true record breaker, a cat who set the bar for all wealthy felines. Meet Blackie. But Blackie isn't just any cute fluff ball. He's officially recognised by Guinness World Records as the wealthiest cat in history. His owner, Ben Rea, was a rather eccentric British antique dealer. He lived a solitary life, and by all accounts trusted his 15 cats far more than he did people, including his own family. When Ben passed away in 1988, his will caused quite a stir. He bequeathed almost his entire fortune, an estimated $13 million at the time, not to his relatives, but to the last surviving of his beloved pets, the cat Blackie. Of course, the money didn't just land directly in the cat's paw. Instead, the entire sum was divided among 3 major cat welfare charities. Their primary responsibility was to care for Blackie for the rest of his life, ensuring all his feline whims were met. Thus, Blackie became a millionaire, his life essentially overseen by entire charitable foundations. A true feline monarch, protected by a veritable empire of wealth. But while Blackie's story is one of wealth under institutional care, our next hero's journey is a true rags-to-riches tale. Meet Tommaso, a black cat who transformed from a street stray in Rome to an owner of luxury real estate. His life was typical for a stray, fraught with dangers and uncertainty. But one day, fortune smiled upon him. He was taken in by Maria Assunta, an elderly childless widow of a construction magnate. She showered the cat with incredible love and care. As she felt the end of her life approaching, Maria desperately sought a way to ensure Tommaso's future was secure. Distrusting various charitable organisations, she made a decision that shocked all of Italy. She bequeathed her entire fortune, a staggering €10 million, directly to her cat. The inheritance included apartments in Rome and Milan, as well as villas and land, and just like that, a simple street cat became one of the wealthiest animals on the planet. His guardian became the very nurse who had cared for his late owner. And now, leaving the cosy Italian streets behind, let's dive into the dazzling world of high fashion. Here, arguably, the most glamorous cat on the planet takes centre stage. Choupette, a snow-white Burman beauty, and the beloved muse of legendary designer Karl Lagerfelds. Her life was nothing short of a fairy tale. Choupette had 2 personal maids, travelled on a private jet, dined from silver dinnerware alongside her owner, and even inspired entire fashion collections. When Lagerfeld passed away, global media erupted with headlines claiming the cat had inherited a significant portion of his $200 million fortune. But this is where one of the biggest myths begins. In reality, under French law, an animal cannot be a direct heir to an estate. Choupette was far more than just a pet. She was a genuine star and a shrewd businesswoman. Even during Lagerfeld's lifetime, she had already earned several million euros through lucrative advertising contracts and photo shoots. She even had her own agent and a dedicated bank account. Lagerfeld shrewdly secured her future by leaving a substantial sum to his housekeeper, who then became Choupette's official guardian. Thus, Choupette stands as a unique example of a self-made millionaire, rather than simply being an heiress. So how does a pet's life actually unfold when it inherits wealth like this? After all, a cat can't exactly walk into a bank and withdraw cash, or order itself a lobster dinner. The entire arrangement is made possible by a specialised legal mechanism, the pet trust. Within this structure, two key figures emerge: the pet's designated guardian, or caretaker, and the trust's trustee. When setting up their inheritance, the owner establishes a dedicated trust fund specifically for their pet. This document meticulously outlines every single detail, from the specific brand of food to buy, the frequency of vet visits, the type of bed the pet should sleep on, all the way down to the exact toys it should be given. The pet's guardian is the individual directly responsible for the animal's daily care, living with it, and ensuring its overall well-being. However, they don't directly handle the finances. Instead, the guardian submits expense requests to the trust trustee, who functions much like a financial director. The trustee manages the account, ensuring that every single penny is spent strictly according to the detailed instructions left by the original owner. This is a serious legal obligation, and both the misuse of funds and inadequate care can lead to severe legal consequences and accountability in court. And trust me, the demands owners put into their wills can be absolutely wild. It's far from just about buying premium pet food. Some wills mandate regular grooming sessions with celebrity stylists. Others insist the pet live exclusively in an ocean view mansion complete with a dedicated staff. We've heard tales of dogs with personal chefs, meticulously preparing organic gourmet meals, and for some, a non-negotiable condition was regular private jet travel to spare the animal the stress of a standard cargo hold. Take, for example, one socialite who famously left her poodle a fortune, stipulating that it attend weekly spa sessions and wear the jewel-encrusted collars she had personally selected during her lifetime. The appointed guardian is legally bound to ensure these conditions are met. Failing to do so could mean losing their right to guardianship and sometimes even forfeiting the generous compensation intended for the pet's care. Let's try to understand the people behind these decisions. What truly compels someone to leave millions of dollars, euros, or pounds to a pet, rather than, say, a charity or even their own family? The motivations are incredibly varied and deeply personal. Frequently, a profound sense of loneliness lies at the heart of it. For many who are childless or elderly, a pet isn't just a companion. It becomes a true family member, often the most devoted and unwavering presence in their lives. These animals provide unconditional love, a bond their human companion might never have experienced from other people. So it becomes entirely natural for them to want to ensure their faithful friend enjoys a comfortable life after they're gone. It's a final act of profound care and gratitude for years of unwavering devotion. In these instances, leaving an inheritance to a pet isn't an eccentricity, but a heartfelt expression of love. It's their ultimate way of saying thank you to the companion who was there until the very end. However, there's another, less heartwarming reason. Sometimes leaving an inheritance to a pet is a carefully calculated act of revenge. Picture this: a wealthy individual surrounded by avaricious relatives who've spent their entire lives impatiently awaiting their inheritance, eager to divvy up his estate. They show him no love, no genuine care, only a keen interest in his money. And then, just before his demise, the owner makes a masterful play. He bequeaths his entire fortune to his beloved cat or dog, leaving the ungrateful heirs completely empty-handed. It's a powerful final statement, a resounding declaration that says, "My pet was dearer and more loyal to me than any of you ever were." It's a shocking, yet remarkably effective way to punish those who, in the testator's eyes, truly deserve it. Such stories often make headlines, sparking heated debates about morality and fairness. It goes to show that even from beyond the grave, one can find a way to settle scores with those who've wronged them. Predictably, the moment a will with such an unusual clause takes effect, a fierce battle almost always ensues. The disinherited relatives are certainly not going to give up easily. They immediately turn to the courts, igniting high-profile and often acrimonious legal battles. Their primary argument is an attempt to prove that their wealthy relative, at the time of drafting the will, was not of sound mind. They hire expensive attorneys, present witnesses who recount the deceased's peculiarities or erratic behaviour, and demand the will be declared invalid. These legal proceedings can drag on for years, accumulating scandalous details and drawing significant media attention. It's a genuine battle for millions, pitting the last will of the individual against the family's fervent desire for wealth. The outcome of such cases depends on numerous factors. However, what's truly interesting is the significant shift in judicial practice over the last few decades. While previously, leaving an inheritance to a pet might have been considered a sign of mental incompetence, that's rarely the case anymore. Courts are increasingly upholding the deceased's last wishes. The main condition, of course, is the legal impeccability of the document itself. If the will is meticulously drafted by a competent lawyer, if a trust fund mechanism is employed, and if there's no question about the authenticity of the signature or the testator's mental capacity at the time of execution, then the chances for relatives to successfully challenge it are virtually nil. The law is increasingly recognizing an individual's right to dispose of their assets as they see fit, even if those decisions strike some as eccentric. This reflects a broader societal shift. Pets are increasingly viewed not merely as property, but as cherished family members whose well-being is paramount to their owners. In short, the era when it was easy to challenge cat millions is steadily becoming a thing of the past. It would be a mistake to assume that only pampered cats and loyal dogs make it onto the millionaires list. The world of wealthy animals is far more diverse and astonishing than you might imagine. Take, for instance, a chicken. Yes, you heard that right. A chicken named Jigu inherited an entire fortune. Her owner, British publishing magnate Miles Blackwell, became utterly devoted to his flock of rare sheep and his beloved chicken after the death of his wife. Upon his passing, he bequeathed an incredible $15 million to Jigu. Or consider Kalu, a chimpanzee from Cape Town. Rescued from captivity by an aristocrat's wife, the chimpanzee became like a daughter to her. Kalu ultimately inherited an estate valued at approximately $80 million, though the story didn't have such a smooth ending, as it was later revealed the aristocrat himself was bankrupt. Nevertheless, the sheer audacity of such a will is astounding. These cases prove that affection truly knows no species boundaries, and any creature, no matter how unusual, can become a millionaire simply by capturing its owner's heart. These stories, once dismissed as mere oddities, in fact, reflect a significant global trend. Estate lawyers and financial advisors worldwide are observing a steady increase in the number of people wanting to secure their pet's future after their own passing. This is no longer considered an anomaly. Indeed, entire legal firms have emerged, specializing solely in establishing these pet trusts. They assist owners in drafting comprehensive documents to ensure their wishes are meticulously fulfilled and that no opportunistic relatives can successfully challenge them. This trend is particularly evident in developed nations, where rising living standards have coincided with a shift in attitudes towards companion animals. People are acquiring pets later in life, investing significant sums in their care throughout their lifetime, and naturally, they desire that same level of comfort and security to persist even after they are gone. Consequently, it may not be long before a millionaire cat living next door no longer raises an eyebrow. Naturally, wherever substantial money is involved, a darker side inevitably emerges. The primary risk in these situations is fraud committed by unscrupulous guardians or trustees. After all, an animal can't complain about being poorly fed, or that the funds from its trust are being diverted for the guardian's personal use. Instances have been documented where guardians lived lavishly at the expense of funds intended for the pet, submitting fake receipts in their reports. For instance, they might buy delicacies for themselves, claiming in documents that it was special food for the cat. Or they might even attempt to replace a deceased animal with a very similar-looking one to continue receiving trust payments. This is precisely why, when establishing such funds, legal experts recommend implementing a multi-layered control system, appointing not only a guardian and a trustee, but also an independent observer who will regularly inspect the animal's living conditions and financial statements. This helps minimize risks and protect the owner's last wishes from human greed. But what happens to all that money when a millionaire pet's life eventually comes to an end? After all, cats and dogs don't live nearly as long as humans. This is a question owners often think about well in advance. Typically, their will or the trust fund's governing documents clearly outline where any remaining funds should go. More often than not, upon the pet's demise, all assets not used for its upkeep are bequeathed to major charitable organisations. These commonly include animal welfare organisations, shelters, or veterinary research centres. This way, the owner not only provides for their beloved companion, but also makes a significant contribution to helping thousands of other less fortunate animals. This makes their legacy even more profound. In rare cases, the remainder might be left to a specific individual, but most often, philanthropy serves as the final, poignant chapter in these remarkable stories of love and wealth. But all these stories pale in comparison to the truly incredible saga of a German shepherd named Gunther. The fortune was initially inherited by Gunther III from his owner, a German countess. It then passed on to his son, Gunther IV. But what's truly astonishing is how the trustees managed the money. They didn't just maintain the dog, they grew the inheritance to an astounding $400 million through shrewd investments. Imagine a dog owning a Miami villa once belonging to Madonna. A dog that flies on private jets, dines on truffle-infused steaks, and is surrounded by a dedicated staff of caretakers. An entire corporation was even established in Gunther's name. It's so absurd and grandiose that many still believe the entire story to be a brilliant PR stunt. But the facts speak for themselves. Gunther the dog is officially considered the wealthiest animal in world history. Now that's truly remarkable. So as we can see, the world of animal inheritance isn't merely a quirky whim of eccentric millionaires, it's a complex legal and emotional phenomenon. It demonstrates the incredible strength of the bond between humans and their pets, prompting people to take unprecedented steps to ensure their beloved companions have the best possible life, even after they're gone. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed these amazing stories, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more fascinating episodes. Now, a question for you. Do you think this is the ultimate display of pet love, or is it taking things a bit too far? Would you leave an inheritance to your cat or dog? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to read them.